I have seen a lot of things in my 43 years on the bench. I have watched people lie, cry, beg, and sometimes even tell the truth, but I never thought I would see the day when someone with a badge would walk into my courtroom and try to put handcuffs on me. That day came on a cold Tuesday morning in February, and what happened next became one of the most talked about moments in Providence courthouse history. If you believe that no one is above the law, not even the people who enforce it, then you need to stick around for this story, because what I am about to tell you will restore your faith in justice. And hey, if you love seeing arrogance get checked at the door, hit that subscribe button right now, because you are in the right place. It started like any other morning. I walked into my courtroom at exactly 8:45 a.m., carrying my coffee and my leather folder that my father gave me when I first became a judge. The courtroom was packed, standing room only. That should have been my first clue that something unusual was about to happen. My clerk, Sandra, gave me a strange look as I took my seat. She leaned over and whispered that we had a special case this morning, case number 77349. I looked down at my docket and saw the name, James Richardson, age 52, charged with contempt of court and obstruction of justice. Now, normally, contempt cases are pretty straightforward. Someone mouths off to a judge, refuses to follow court orders, that kind of thing. But when I looked up and saw who was standing in my courtroom, I had to do a double take. James Richardson was not just anyone. He was the police commissioner of our city, the top law enforcement official in Providence. He stood there in a custom-tailored Navy suit that probably cost $3,000. His tie was Hermes. I know, because the little pattern was visible even from the bench. His shoes were Italian leather, polished so bright they reflected the courtroom lights. On his wrist was a Rolex Presidential that caught the light every time he moved. This was a man who wanted everyone to know he had money and power. Next to him stood his attorney, Marcus Webb, one of those high-priced lawyers who defend rich people and politicians. Marcus wore a charcoal suit and carried a leather briefcase that cost more than most people make in a month. They both had this look on their faces. You know the look, the one that says they think they are better than everyone else in the room. On the other side of the courtroom stood Assistant District Attorney Lisa Chen. She was 34 years old and had been with the DA office for 6 years. She was good at her job, really good. But today she looked nervous. Her hands shook slightly as she organized her papers. I could see sweat on her forehead even though the courtroom was cool. That told me this case was bigger than what was written on the docket. I banged my gavel and said good morning to everyone. Then I asked Lisa to explain why the police commissioner was standing in my courtroom. She took a deep breath and started talking. Her voice was shaky at first, but got stronger as she went on. She said that 3 weeks ago, on January 14th at approximately 2:30 p.m., Commissioner Richardson had interfered with an active investigation. She said he had used his position to intimidate witnesses and threaten officers who were investigating a case involving his nephew. His nephew. That got my attention. I leaned forward and asked her to continue. Lisa explained that Richardson's nephew, a 23-year-old named Brandon Richardson, had been arrested for assault and battery. The victim was a military veteran named Michael Torres. Michael was 41 years old and had served 2 tours in Afghanistan. He came home with PTSD and a leg injury that gave him a permanent limp. He worked as a security guard at a local hospital, trying to make ends meet for his wife and 3 kids. One of his daughters had leukemia, 7 years old. She was in treatment at the same hospital where Michael worked. According to the police report, Brandon Richardson had gotten into an argument with Michael outside a bar on Westminster Street. Michael was walking home from his shift at the hospital. It was 11:20 p.m. Brandon was drunk. He had been posting videos on his Instagram all night, showing himself and his friends doing shots of expensive tequila. Clase Azul. The bottles cost about $300 each. In one video, Brandon was waving around a thick roll of cash and laughing about how his uncle would always protect him no matter what he did. The argument started because Michael accidentally bumped into Brandon on the sidewalk. Michael apologized immediately. He was a respectful guy, polite, the kind of man who said yes sir and no sir even when he did not have to. But Brandon did not want an apology. According to 3 witnesses, Brandon started calling Michael names. He mocked his limp. He called him a cripple and a loser. Then he shoved Michael hard enough to knock him down. Michael tried to walk away. He did not want trouble. But Brandon followed him. He kept pushing, kept taunting. Finally, Michael turned around and told Brandon to leave him alone. That was when Brandon punched him. Not just once, 7 times. The witnesses said Brandon beat Michael until he was unconscious on the sidewalk. Blood everywhere. Michael ended up with a broken jaw, 3 broken ribs, a concussion, and permanent damage to his already injured leg. The police arrested Brandon that night. The evidence was overwhelming. 3 witnesses, security camera footage from the bar, Brandon's own Instagram videos showing him drunk and aggressive. It should have been an open and shut case. But then Commissioner Richardson got involved. He went to the police station at 1:15 a.m. He ordered the officers to release his nephew. When they refused, he threatened them. He said he would have them fired. He said he would destroy their careers. Officer Patricia Morales, badge number 3472, was on duty that night. She was a single mother of 2 kids. She had been with the Providence Police Department for 9 years. She had an impeccable record, not a single complaint. She was up for a promotion. But when she refused to release Brandon Richardson, the commissioner pulled her into a private room and told her that if she did not drop the charges, he would make sure she never worked in law enforcement again. He said he would plant evidence in her locker. He said he would destroy her reputation. Patricia recorded the whole conversation on her phone. She knew she needed proof. She knew that without a recording, it would be her word against the police commissioner's word, and nobody would believe her. So she hit record and let him threaten her for 8 minutes straight. Then she took that recording to the district attorney's office. Now here we were. The police commissioner was in my courtroom, charged with intimidating a witness, obstruction of justice, and abuse of power. And he did not look worried at all. In fact, he looked annoyed, like this was all beneath him. His lawyer stood up and addressed the court. He said that this whole thing was a misunderstanding. He said that Commissioner Richardson was simply trying to ensure that his nephew received fair treatment. He said that Officer Morales had misinterpreted the commissioner's words. Then he said something that made my blood boil. He said that the district attorney's office was waging a political vendetta against the commissioner. I let him finish. Then I asked to hear the recording. Lisa Chen played it for the courtroom. The commissioner's voice came through loud and clear. There was no misunderstanding. He threatened Officer Morales in explicit detail. He told her exactly what he would do to destroy her life if she did not comply. When the recording ended, the courtroom was silent. I looked at Commissioner Richardson and asked him if he had anything to say. He smiled, actually smiled. Then he said that he stood by everything he said on that recording. He said that Officer Morales was a low-level employee who should have followed his orders. He said that as police commissioner, he had the authority to make decisions about arrests and charges. Before we go any further, I need you to do something for me. If you think people in power should face consequences just like everyone else, drop a comment right now and tell me what you would do if you were sitting in my chair. And if you have not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? This channel is all about real justice, and we are just getting started. I sat back in my chair and let Commissioner Richardson's words hang in the air. I wanted everyone in that courtroom to really hear what he just said. He admitted to threatening a police officer. He admitted to trying to obstruct justice, and he did it with a smile on his face. But I was not done yet. I asked Lisa Chen if she had any other evidence. She nodded and pulled out a stack of papers. She said that after Officer Morales came forward, 3 other officers contacted the district attorney's office. They said that Commissioner Richardson had a pattern of using his position to protect friends and family members from prosecution. One officer said the commissioner forced him to change a police report. Another officer said the commissioner ordered her to destroy evidence in a case involving a city councilman's son. A third officer said the commissioner created a secret system where certain people got VIP treatment. The stack of papers contained sworn affidavits from all 3 officers. It also contained internal police department emails showing that Commissioner Richardson had been doing this for years. There were at least 15 separate incidents where he had interfered with investigations or threatened officers. I looked at Commissioner Richardson. His smile was gone now, but he still did not look worried. He looked angry. His face was turning red. His jaw was clenched. Then he did something that shocked everyone. He stood up and pointed at me. He said, "Judge Caprio, with all due respect, you are way out of your depth here. You are a small-time traffic court judge who got lucky and became popular on the internet. You do not have the authority or the intelligence to judge me. I have dedicated my life to protecting this city, and now you want to crucify me because I protected my family. That is what power is for." The courtroom erupted. People started yelling. My bailiff had to call for order. I banged my gavel 3 times. Then I looked at Commissioner Richardson and asked him if he was finished. He said he was not. He said that I was a joke. He said that I had no real power. He said that I was nothing more than a television personality playing dress-up in a judge's robe. Then he said something I will never forget. He said, "You know what the difference between you and me is, Judge? I come from real money, real power. You are the son of an Italian immigrant who worked in a factory. You are blue-collar. You might wear a robe, but underneath you are still just a poor kid from Federal Hill trying to act like you belong in the same room as people like me." That was it. That was the moment. I have been insulted before, but this was not just about me. This was about my father who came to this country with nothing and worked 16-hour days to give his family a better life. My father who taught me that everyone deserves respect regardless of their background or bank account. I stood up from my chair. I looked Commissioner Richardson directly in the eyes. I told him to sit down and be quiet. His lawyer grabbed his arm and pulled him into his seat. Then I asked Lisa Chen if she had anything else. She said she did. She pulled out her phone and connected it to the courtroom monitor. The monitor lit up with a screenshot from the commissioner's private Instagram account. It was a photo from 2 weeks ago. The photo showed Commissioner Richardson sitting in what looked like a private club. He was holding a glass of whiskey. Sitting next to him were 2 city councilmen and a state senator. The caption read, "Another successful week protecting our interests. The little people don't understand how the world really works." Now listen, I want you to see where this is going. But before I reveal what happened next, do me a favor. If you are the kind of person who believes that justice is not just for the rich and powerful, smash that like button right now. Lisa scrolled to another screenshot. This one was from a private chat between Commissioner Richardson and his nephew Brandon. It was dated the day after Brandon was arrested. Brandon had written, "Uncle Jim, I messed up. I really hurt that guy." Commissioner Richardson replied, "Don't worry about it. I will take care of everything. That crippled security guard is nobody. He does not matter." The courtroom went silent, but Lisa was not done. She showed another message. Brandon wrote, "The cops are still asking questions. That woman cop won't back off." The commissioner replied, "I will handle her. I will ruin her life if I have to. She is just another nobody." Then Lisa showed us something that made me actually angry. It was a TikTok video that Brandon Richardson had posted 3 days ago. In the video, he was at a party. Loud music, expensive bottles. He was laughing and dancing. The text on the video read, "When you beat up a random guy and your uncle makes it all disappear. Money and power, baby. Rules are for poor people." The video had 43,000 views. And there, in the comments section, was a comment from Commissioner Richardson's verified account. It said, "That's my nephew. Family first always. We don't play by the same rules as everyone else." I looked at Commissioner Richardson. His face had gone from red to pale, but he stood up again and said that his social media accounts had been hacked. He said that someone was trying to frame him. I asked him to sit down. Then I asked Lisa if the district attorney's office had verified the authenticity of these messages. She said they had. They had worked with digital forensics experts who confirmed that all the messages came from devices registered to Commissioner Richardson. Then Lisa dropped another bomb. She said that during their investigation they discovered something else. Commissioner Richardson had been using his position to run what was essentially a protection racket. He had been taking money from wealthy individuals in exchange for protecting them from prosecution. They had bank records showing deposits totaling more than $2 million over 5 years into offshore accounts controlled by the commissioner. The FBI was already investigating Commissioner Richardson for corruption, money laundering, and racketeering. Federal agents were planning to arrest him within the next week, but the commissioner had gotten wind of the investigation. That was why he was here today, trying to intimidate the local courts before the feds could move in. But it was too late. As Lisa was explaining all of this, the courtroom doors opened. 3 people walked in, 2 FBI agents and a woman in a sharp business suit. The woman introduced herself as Assistant U.S. Attorney Jennifer Morrison. She said that Commissioner Richardson was under investigation for multiple federal crimes. Then something unexpected happened. The courtroom doors opened again. This time a man walked in wearing a police uniform. It was Chief Deputy Commissioner Anthony Rizzo. He was Commissioner Richardson's second in command. Everyone expected him to support his boss, but instead he walked straight to the prosecutor's table and asked to address the court. Chief Rizzo said he had been with the Providence Police Department for 29 years. He said he could not stay silent anymore. He said that Commissioner Richardson had corrupted the department. He said that good officers were afraid to do their jobs because the commissioner would punish them if they arrested the wrong person. Then Chief Rizzo said that Commissioner Richardson had tried to recruit him into his corruption scheme. The commissioner had offered him money and promotions if he would help cover up crimes. Chief Rizzo refused, and after that the commissioner tried to push him out. But Chief Rizzo had been documenting everything. He had kept copies of emails, recorded phone conversations, and maintained a detailed journal. Chief Rizzo handed a thick folder to Lisa Chen. Then he looked at Commissioner Richardson and said, "Jim, I used to respect you, but you only care about yourself. You have betrayed every officer who puts on a uniform. You disgust me." Commissioner Richardson finally cracked. He stood up and started yelling. He said that everyone was against him. He said that this was a witch hunt. Then he made a huge mistake. He turned to me and said that he was going to have me arrested. He said that I was biased and corrupt. He actually pulled out his phone and called the police department. He ordered officers to come to the courthouse and arrest me. I sat there calmly and let him make his call. When he hung up, I asked him if he was finished. He said that within minutes, police officers would arrive and take me into custody. We waited. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. No officers came. Commissioner Richardson called again. This time the person on the other end told him something that made his face go completely white. The entire police department had refused his order. They told him that they no longer recognized his authority. Chief Rizzo had already contacted the mayor and the city council. They had voted in an emergency session to suspend Commissioner Richardson immediately. His badge, his authority, his power, all gone. At that moment, 2 Providence police officers did walk into the courtroom. But they were not there to arrest me. They were there to arrest Commissioner Richardson. One of the officers was Patricia Morales, the officer he had threatened. She looked him in the eyes and said, "James Richardson, you are under arrest for witness intimidation, obstruction of justice, corruption, and abuse of power." I will never forget the look on his face. The arrogance was gone. All that was left was fear. He looked around the courtroom like he was waiting for someone to save him, but nobody moved. "Look, we are almost done, and if you are still here, you are my kind of people. Before I tell you what sentence I gave him, hit that subscribe button if you want to see more stories like this, more moments where justice actually wins." Officer Morales handcuffed Commissioner Richardson. As she did, I spoke. I told him that in my 43 years on the bench, I had never seen someone as brazen and shameless as him. I told him that he had betrayed the public trust. He had corrupted an entire police department. He had threatened good officers. He had protected criminals. And he had shown no remorse. I found him guilty of criminal contempt of court. I found him guilty of witness intimidation. I found him guilty of obstruction of justice. I sentenced him to 1 year in jail, no bail, immediate incarceration. But that was not all. I also ordered him to pay full restitution to Officer Patricia Morales. I ordered him to pay full medical bills for Michael Torres, and I ordered him to issue a public apology to every officer in the Providence Police Department. Then I did something I had never done before. I ordered special conditions for his sentence. When he got out of jail, he would have to complete 1,000 hours of community service. He would have to work at the VA hospital where Michael Torres worked. He would have to work alongside veterans. He would have to see every day the kind of people his nephew had hurt. As Officer Morales led him away in handcuffs, Commissioner Richardson looked back at me one last time. I could see in his eyes that he finally understood. He was not special. He was not above the law. All his money, all his power, none of it mattered. After he was gone, I addressed the courtroom. I told everyone that what they witnessed today was proof that our justice system can work. Not when officers like Patricia Morales refuse to be intimidated. Not when prosecutors like Lisa Chen do their jobs, even when it is hard. Not when chiefs like Anthony Rizzo choose integrity over loyalty. I called Officer Morales back to the bench. I thanked her for her courage. I told her that she represented the best of law enforcement. She had tears in her eyes. She thanked me and said she was just doing her job. But it was more than that. She had risked everything because it was right. I also called up Michael Torres. He had been sitting in the back of the courtroom the whole time. He walked up with his limp, slowly making his way to the bench. I told him that I was sorry for what happened to him. I told him that the city would be covering all of his medical bills. I also told him that I would personally make sure his daughter got the best medical care possible for her leukemia treatment. Michael broke down crying. He said he never expected justice. He said that when he saw who had beaten him up, he thought the case would disappear. But he was not forgotten. Justice was served. The story made national news. By that evening, every major news outlet was covering it. The video of Commissioner Richardson being arrested in my courtroom went viral, millions of views. 2 weeks later, the FBI arrested Commissioner Richardson on federal charges, racketeering, money laundering, corruption. He was looking at 20 years in federal prison. His nephew Brandon was also arrested. Without his uncle's protection, he had to face real consequences. He pleaded guilty and got 3 years in prison. Officer Patricia Morales was promoted. She became a sergeant and later a lieutenant. Chief Anthony Rizzo became the new police commissioner. He has been working to restore trust between the police department and the community. Michael Torres recovered from his injuries. His daughter's leukemia went into remission. He still works at the hospital. He said he wants to keep helping people. That is just who he is. As for me, I learned something that day. I learned that standing up to power is never easy, but it is always necessary. The moment we start making exceptions for certain people, the moment we say that some people are above the law, that is the moment justice dies. My father used to tell me that a judge's robe does not make you better than anyone else. It makes you responsible to everyone else. It means you have to put aside your fears and do what is right, even when powerful people are telling you to back down, even when they threaten you, even when they insult you and your family. That day in court, Commissioner Richardson tried to use his power to escape justice. He thought his badge and his money would protect him. He thought that people like me, people from working-class backgrounds, would be too intimidated to stand up to him. He was wrong. The law does not care where you come from. It does not care how much money you have. The law is the law. And in my courtroom, everyone answers to it. I think about that case a lot. I think about Officer Morales and the courage it took for her to come forward. I think about Chief Rizzo and the integrity it took to testify against his boss. I think about Michael Torres and how close he came to being just another forgotten victim. And I think about all the people who never get justice because nobody stands up. That is why I do what I do. That is why, after 43 years, I still show up to court every day. Because every once in a while we get a case like this, a case where the system actually works, a case where the little guy wins, a case where justice is not just a word, it is a reality. So to everyone watching this, I want you to remember something. Justice is not automatic. It requires good people to stand up. It requires courage. It requires integrity. And it requires all of us to demand that everyone, no matter how powerful, be held accountable. Thank you for watching this story.